out there. How are you doing? I want to thank everybody that's dialing in from our social media network. I appreciate it. Really quick before we start looking at some charts, I want to talk about this. I think it's a really good deal. If anyone is interested in live trading alerts, the scanner, if you purchase the scanner from month to month, you can cancel at any time. You'll receive a free membership to Hit and Run Candlesticks. So check out those links. We have it in our social media. Give it a shot. Tell me what you think. I'll be glad to help train you on it. Ed will also be glad. Okay. All right. Let's get started here. And here, let's do that. And there's the scanner slide as well right there. So if you're interested, just let me know. All right. Let's get started here. Get the trading room up and running. Again, I want to thank everybody for being here. Absolutely appreciate it. And there we go. Good morning, everybody. Hello. Hello, Vern, JW, Bill, Roger. Gold to Mine, Sonny. How are you guys doing? Hello, Vern. 14 days to the next FOMC meeting. Thank you. Let's pull this up. Hey, good morning, Stefan. Hydro, look good and good. Vernon, welcome. MW, good morning. How's everybody? Good deal. I'm going to have to take a drink of water here in just a second. All right. Hey, I want to announce to everybody that I'll be having an open house. That's me, Rick, Hit and Run Candlesticks on, when is it? On, drum roll, I have to look. April 29. That's next Tuesday. So love to have everybody here. Show up for the open house. Maybe we'll do some pizza giveaways or something. Okay, let's take a look at the market, right? So, man, we had some earnings last night, right? And evidently they must have been good. Here we've got the market moving up this morning. Here's the SPY. When I say the market, my market is generally the SPY. Here we are up a little bit. You can see that. I think it's darn right remarkable that we have a green dot. Yay! We had a green dot over here too. Yay! The problem is we had no follow through over here. So the same problem could occur here as well. So let's not get too overly excited. We could just fizzle out and just dribble right back on down. If we can close over yesterday's candle, then I think we've got a very good shot, unless there's no, well, I don't know. What's a good way to put it? Unless there's no turbulence in the air, right? No turbulence. Let's say that. Then I think we have a very good chance of getting back to that 50 period moving on the SPY, which would be remarkable. And then we can talk about how we're going to get through that 50 period moving average. But until then, walk a little softly, be a little careful. Don't forget to take some profits, okay? If we take a look at IWM, that acted very well today, yesterday, and it looks like it's acting pretty good today, heading right up to our 50% retracement target area. Let's take a look at T21.3, and jeepers creepers, look at that thing. We've got some green dots. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row. That's amazing. I'm not going to get too excited till we get over that blue line, though. If we move over that blue line, it takes us over all these places right here that ended up failing. So keep an eye on this. If we can break that blue line and hold, then by golly, we just might have game on. Notice that VXX over here is falling down. So keep your fingers crossed. I think it's pretty exciting. Where did it go? Some things, everybody knows that we have earnings And, we also have numbers coming out. So here is Wednesday today, and new home sales comes out at 10. Petroleum sales report comes out at 10:30. You want to watch that. Beige book at 2. Thursday, durable goods, jobless claims, those are in the market, or those are, before the market opens there. Existing home sales at 10, natural gas report, Fed balance sheet Thursday afternoon. And then Friday, we've got the consumer sentiment number. That'll be interesting. How's everybody feeling? How does that make you feel? That's what that is. So careful with those numbers, though. We'll keep an eye on that. All right, I've got a few charts to look at. First, we better look at IYT. I'm sorry. I'm a little wound up. I've had a bit too much coffee this morning. You can see IYT, this right here, pretty good downtrend. IYT looks like it's trying to attack it here. Let's let it. Let's let it, let it off the leash. Let it go. This is kind of hard to see. Let me change the color on this and you can see it better. There you go. And let's just get rid of that one. Right here, that's the 50% retracement from the top up here on the left to the bottom right here. So that's what I'm expecting us to get to. But of course, it's got to jump through that doggone downtrend hoop right there. SMH is another one that's kind of important to the market. That one's jumped over that 50% retracement already. Well, I'm just taking it there. Let's move this up here. There we go. There we go. So there's the 50% retracement. There's the 50 period moving average. We'll take a look at that. But right now, price is above the T line. One thing we're going to want to see in any chart I like to see is the white line above the dots and the dots green. That means we've got some momentum cooking based on the T line and the trend indicator, and of course price be above it. Then you've got some momentum cooking in there, and that's what really can create some really good trends. Is that momentum, and that's a good place to start with. Okay, all right. I have got some charts to look at. DJT popped up on the pre-market of the scanner. Live Trading Alerts has a pre-market, pre-market scanner. Here's some alerts coming up. I've got this one. Well, it says set above the cloud, but I don't know what time frame it's on, so I would have to look at that. But it's nice to see these popping up pre-market and being able to go look at them and seeing if they're worthy charts. So anyway, all these that I've got here, they've come off the scanner either this morning or yesterday or even the day before, and I put them on a hot list and I just keep an eye on them. But here's a few that I think are looking pretty good. DJT popped up pre-market this morning, breaking out. And, one might look at this and say, well, why are we looking at it? It's too far gone. Yeah, it is. I wouldn't want to be a buyer right there. And it's been up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll count today as 6 days. So I'm not sure I want to be a buyer there. But the beauty of that is part of the setup of our favorite entry mechanism. And I'm just going to take the, probably should have made that a different color. There we go. I'm going to put the trend here based on the trend indicator, just ride the trend indicator up. So now what I'm going to look for is, let's see, I always forgot that. We're going to, watch a little pullback, a little bit of a rest, and this could go up more before it does it, but it's likely to start, pulling in this way. And then we get into this 3-8 trap. And then that's what we want to look for an entry and take us up next. Here's an example. There's the up move. Here's the pullback. Yep, pullback, right? And there's the buy candles right there. That's that one right there. Piece of cake. It really is. Anyway, beautiful chart. Probably not a buy now. Watch for that pullback, okay? I've been asked several times about Hertz, and I've shared what I thought about Hertz, and there's been some money, make some good money on Hertz. In fact, it did come back into that box. In fact, I do know folks that bought it, and I know folks that are making some pretty good money right now. So rock and roll. Nothing's going to change. My target is still up here about $11, the 50% retracement. Don't get your feelings hurt if we walk to the right a little bit or even pull back a little bit. But overall, right now, the trend remains bullish. We've got the T-line is still bullish, trend indicator still bullish, and price still up here doing what price wants to do. Climb, 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 climb. So Hertz is looking pretty good. CELH, that's a dynamo. You know, this thing really is. This has gone. By the way, if anyone would like to study a perfect rounded bottom breakout, this is it right here. Okay, study that. That's a perfect rounded bottom breakout. And we broke out of the 200 period moving average. You can see the trend indicator is still trending. You can see the white line, T-line is above the trend indicator. So what do we have? We have momentum. We have momentum from about right here all the way up. All that price movement is just sellers throwing punches at each other. That's all it is. Punch, 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 punch. Profit taking, buy, profit taking, buy, profit taking, buy. That's all this is. Price action. But the trend, the momentum is bullish. Still looks bullish, still looks good, still an upside target to it. IBIT, looks like the Bitcoin stuff out there is still working. Yesterday, we hit our 50% retracement as thought, as we talked about, and now we've got other targets up here. One thing we want to be careful now is we've been up, and I'm going to count today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got a gap and a gap, and I count gaps as a day. So 6, 7. So we've been up a little bit much. It can still climb higher, but the higher this goes, the more risky it is and the more likely of a pullback, okay? So those that aren't in it and you're sitting on the edge of your seat and you're biting your fingernails and you're, drinking things while you're trading that you probably shouldn't be drinking or whatever. And you see this moving up. Let's make it move up. You see that. Well, there we go. You see that moving up and you see it maybe move up again. You can't stand it, so you buy it. That's called fear of missing out, by the way. There is no medicine at Walgreens for that. That's something you're going to have to knuckle down on yourself. Fear of missing out. That'll kill you every time. Then all of a sudden, that's when you see that. Probably should use this. You see that pullback. Whoops, wrong one. You see that pullback, and then you end up closing it, and you end up with a loss. So wait for the setups. Wait for the setups. All right. A few things that are looking good. I think looking good here. I'm not sure what some people are doing with Walmart, but it's looking good. I'm currently long on Walmart, and it, another one of those scanner alerts breaking out over the previous candles, so that worked out very well. So far, it is. PLTR is another one. Thank you, Live Trading Alert Scanner, for giving that, and thank you for the folks in the trading room. So many times, and I'll show you one here that several members owned, and one member called me out. She said, well, if you like it so much, why don't you buy it and put a stop on it? So I did. So thank you. You know who you are, Nancy. Mara. So there, and I know a couple people that's been in Mara down here. Congratulations. So yesterday you ended up buying a little bit of Mara using the 50 period moving average as a stop. And that's looking pretty good. I'm still looking for it to get to that 200 period moving average. but we're first going to need to get to 1635 up there. But so far it's looking good. And you know what's even better? Even the market might be looking good for this. I think that's amazing. All right, I have jabbered on here, feels like, for a minute. Anybody have any charts you want to take a look at? Good morning, Carlos. Good morning, Nancy. Yorina, good morning. See if anyone showed up over here. Hey, good morning, Daryl. Good morning, Daryl. You see my note on Mara yesterday? I saw yours. Thank you for posting in Facebook, by the way. You know, Daryl there, if you're ever looking for some charts, Daryl posts some very nice charts on Facebook. He's very dedicated to that, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let's see. Hertz, I already talked about Hertz. Okay, we're good there. Okay, cool. Urena, you're adding to ETHA. Is that right? Yeah. Look at that. We've got a nice little here's, you know what I like about this? I do. Here's what I like about this. Let me get my tool. There we go. So here we gap down and then we gap up. Okay. So we gap down. Now I know that this is not an official island reversal. All right. I know that. But then I don't live by the book. The book is not 100% right. I love candlestick books. Please don't get me wrong on that. But they have to deal with absolutes. They can't deal with fringe. If you dealt with fringe, the book would be so thick you'd never read it. In fact, I don't think any author of a candlestick book would ever be able to finish it. So you read what's in the candlestick books, you take it in, and then you learn what's around the fringe a little bit. So I'm looking at this. I see a gap down here. I see a gap up there. Well, I see an island reversal around the fringe. And then we've got the low. We come up here and hit that high. We come back and make that low. And now we're breaking out over that high. So what we've got here is this. We break out. There's our higher low. And then if we come over here, let's make this different color. There we go. Just anywhere appears your high to a low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Now we've got ourselves a bullish W pattern breaking out here. Very nice. Breaking over the trend indicator here. T-line's about to follow it. Right now, the target would be the 50-period moving average up here. Second, I'm going over here. Yeah, right now the target would be the 50-period moving average up there. Let's do this. And a line you want to watch is about right there. If we can hold that line right there. Yeah. If we can hold that, I think you've got a nice chart there. Way to go. Nice, Urena. Thank you. It's some Intel. Holy moly. Intel. Well, it looks like it's putting on a bottom, Right now, my target would be up here in these moving averages. Looks like it's headed that way. But I think at the end of the day, I don't mean the day like today. I think we're going to need to see it be above these moving averages. So if you look at the chart, let me crunch that up. If you look at the chart here and get this out, you see how just follow that 200 period moving average. And then underneath it, well, we tried to get through it here, tried to get through it here with no luck. I'm not saying that's going to be difficult. I'm not one of those people. I'm one of those people that says it just keeps banging until it finds the crack. All right. So I would be pro Intel right now. I'm not particularly pro buy it right now. You've only got 8-9% up here to those moving averages. So probably not worth it for me. There's better charts in my opinion. But once we break out over that area right there and can prove we can hold it, Now I think we've got game on with Intel. And let me change the color on this. It's dark, can't see it. There we go. Now you can see it. So if we take the high, what is that, 2024, I guess, high, and if we come down to the lows, once we get through that 50 period moving average, all of a sudden the 50% retracement is a possibility. Right now, there's no prayer unless we can break out. So actually, Intel is a nice chart, and make sure that's on the watch list, over about $22.80. And then we've got ourselves about a 45% possible trade there. Very nice. Thank you for bringing that one to the table. Appreciate it. Hey, SGWW, what are we looking at here? May have found a bottom. Yeah, we've got ourselves a little inverse head and shoulders here, don't we? I do think we do. Big bullish engulf. We had some follow through. There's a little bit of rest, and it looks like we're trying to follow through again. Yeah, that's looking pretty good right there. You're going to have to get through that 200 period moving average. Then I think we've got something. So let's see here. Whoops. There it is. Okay. Hey, let's call this a morning, everybody. I want to thank you all for being here. Remember, I've got an open house coming next week on Tuesday. Registration is required. Check out our social media. We will have a link in there. Those in YouTube, you can look below below the video. There'll be a video or a link there. We'll see everyone. You guys take care. Thank you very much. Later.